Greetings, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar, Destination Marketing in the Metaverse, during which we will explore together this emerging new virtual space or concept. So your Metaverse guide today is myself, as Lauren just said, Elena Prestova, and I'm represented here by multiple avatars on the screen, and I'm a vice president at Miles Partnership. Some of you might have seen me and my team delivering Navigator presentations over the years when we look at major trends affecting travel and tourism industry and various technologies. And Metaverse would certainly be one of them this year. However, as this topic is so complex and multi-layered, we felt that it deserved its own presentations when we have more time to dig in, as well as share more examples with you. So today, we will start with a quick overview of Metaverse, just to make sure we're all on the same page to the extent it's possible. There are multiple definitions of what Metaverse is, so we would have to agree on one of them just for the next hour. So we will talk about expert and consumer sentiment and expectations from the Metaverse, as well as current and potential applications in and beyond travel sector. And I will also aim to leave about 15-20 minutes for Q&As. In the presentation today, we will play multiple videos, and we will make sure that we share with you links to those videos, because again, some of them you might want to watch in full length or on your own time. So let's first define what the Metaverse is. And thinking about the Metaverse now is a lot like talking about the internet back in the 70s and in the 80s. So as the building blocks of the new form of communication were being laid out, there were lots of speculations around what it is, how would people use it. But looking back, most of them were far from what the internet is today. So as we're talking about the Metaverse, we're likely in a very similar place and will likely be dramatically off from where the concept will be in a decade or two, or if the term Metaverse will even be around. However, the Metaverse is frequently being described as a virtual reality space in which users can interact with a computer-generated environment and other users. So in a way, it's a combination of virtual reality and digital second life. It's seen by many as the next iteration of the internet, where it becomes something we're immersed in rather than something that we just view. But I think what's important to keep in mind that the Metaverse doesn't exist at the moment. It's a vision of what the future might be like. So I think it's important to avoid the hype and to be somewhat agnostic about the technology, and at the same time, take advantage of an obvious opportunity, because there's clearly lots of hype and interest, which provides marketing opportunities for multiple brands. So if the concept of Metaverse feels familiar, that's because it truly is. So the fictional concept has been around for over 30 years and was explored in pop culture and entertainment. The fictional novel Snow Crash, which was first published in 1992, is credited with coining the term Metaverse, but since then, multiple movies and books were created where virtual lives would be as important as our physical reality. So in a way, you can, like in the last few decades, the concept was slowly but steadily infused into our minds, and it's very familiar to most of us. The growing popularity of gaming helped introduce the idea of a digital second life to public, allowing people to have immersive social experiences in digital worlds of Second Life, Minecraft, Roblox, or Fortnite, and new technology, including augmented reality with games like Pokemon Go and virtual reality headsets like PlayStation VR, facilitated these experiences to give us a preview of what Metaverse might be like in the future. So in some way, we all have touched or experimented with it by now. So as the vision of the Metaverse has been more clearly defined, the technology companies have started competing behind the scenes. hiring new talent and acquiring necessary technology, with the most recent likely to close big acquisition of Microsoft of Activision Blizzard for $70 billion on the premise of the future of gaming and metaverse that this technology brings to the Microsoft. But the event that has ignited a truly global enthusiasm or interest in the concept of metaverse was Facebook's renaming to Meta in October of 2021, as well as making a significant financial commitment into development of platform and technology. 10 billion in just 2021. I think it's being scaled quite a bit this year, but there's still a major financial commitment to keep evolving these concepts. So here's a quick snippet, reminder of that announcement.
To reflect who we are and what we hope to build, I am proud to announce that starting today, our company is now Meta.
So as intended, this name change ignited global interest in the area. And metaverse-related stocks reached a peak in a month after the announcement, and market value of the leading platforms has dramatically surged, as you can see in this visual. But beyond Facebook, many large technology companies, venture capital, established brands, startups are aggressively investing into the metaverse-related technologies, R&D. And just in the first 6 months of this year, 120 billion have already been invested into the metaverse space. Again, following the promise that the metaverse will reach the value of 5 trillion in virtual commerce by 2030. So it's a pretty big promise, right? It's worth the race. And overall, the brands and companies don't want to miss the train in case it's going truly in the right direction. So while investors, corporations, and technology companies are generally excited about the opportunity, let's see what are the opinions of the consumers as well as experts in the field. So the Pew Research Center has asked hundreds of technology experts to share their insights on the topic. So in all, 624 thought leaders have been interviewed, providing their responses to this survey. And just like I'm sure all of us in the room, if we were to do a quick survey now, the opinions are pretty divided. 54% expect that the metaverse will become a part of daily life for all of us, so for 500 million or more people globally by 2040. And I think this timeline is important to keep in mind. We're talking about 18, 17 years from now, while 46% don't think it will come to fruition at all. So the advocates of metaverse believe that the massive commercial potential will motivate the development of metaverse, and that the companies, various metaverse, existing and new technologies will finally catch up with expectations by 2040. The metaverse deniers think that people will not see metaverse as useful in our daily life, and that we all prefer living in reality, which I think both are very valid opinions, and it surely will be interesting to see how this technology truly evolves. But regardless the opinion on the metaverse, and numerous research and positioning papers that we have reviewed for this webinar from Deloitte, McKinsey, the conclusion that you arrive is that a more immersive digital future is inevitable, either by means of metaverse, augmented reality, AR, or mixed reality, MR, or combination of those. So regardless the name of the technology, the real world will be covered with intelligent data, media, and interactive information. And that, I think, gives a really good thoughts to the tourism brands and the tourism companies to think about, the destination brands, to think about what will be the content expectations in that relatively close future, and how the current strategies and campaigns and ideas might be developed that can be utilized later on. So from experts, let's turn to the public opinion and specifically a consumer survey conducted by McKinsey in February of this year of over 1,000 of consumers aged 13 to 17. And in this survey, they wanted to test some of the common assumptions. First, that the metaverse is a fad, it's fleeting, it's not going to happen. However, the public seems to be a lot more optimistic, and in general, across all generations, consumers expect to spend on average 3.7 hours in the metaverse in 5 years. So think about the expert opinions when they're thinking about 17 and 18 years. Consumers are definitely expecting a lot and much sooner. So I'm sure there'll be multiple times throughout this timeline to get disappointed and then to get reignited with new announcements and new technologies. But the bottom line, consumers are very optimistic about the metaverse. The next assumption is pretty common and is testing the myth that the metaverse is largely for gamers and gaming related activities. Much to my surprise, while gaming remains one of the leading experiences, consumers are increasingly looking for entertainment and shopping in the virtual world. 1 in 5 metaverse users has attended virtual live event, such as concert or film festival. And traveling to other places in the virtual world interest at least 46% of the respondents. So we see, or the consumers see, the metaverse as the way to make our life richer, more entertaining, more efficient. So really big expectations. And a final assumption is the expectation that the metaverse is mostly of interest to the younger generations and Gen Z specifically. However, that is not the only generation that wants to take advantage of the metaverse. And the research showed that there's broad awareness across multiple age groups, but millennials showed the greatest awareness of the metaverse, with 2/3 saying they had previously heard or has participated in some metaverse experience. Gen Z and Gen X trail closely behind, and surprisingly, nearly half of baby boomers are aware of the metaverse. The McKinsey research is very much aligned with the State of American Traveler research and its July 2022 technology edition, where 51.4% of travelers say they had heard of the metaverse. And 36.7% of the travelers are interested to have an experience at the metaverse as a way to get travel inspiration or to plan their trip. This consumer interest is only expected to rise with some much anticipated releases of the new gadgets. The most prominent being Apple's AR, VR, or mixed reality headset that was talked about for a while and should become available early next year. And in many technology blogs, the effect of that is expected to mirror the fundamental effect that happened with the release of iPhones and how it changed the world of the smartphones. So with the Apple's VR or mixed reality headset, it's expected to introduce new levels of efficiency, quality, user experience. But many other products are in development from Meta as well as Google Iris, and we will likely see in the next couple of years a full range of innovative products tailored to the VR and AR space. So we as consumers will be continuously triggered to pay attention to the metaverse for sure. So in a summary, consumers are aware and excited, in fact, 2 in 3 about the metaverse. They believe that metaverse will be a bridge that will connect them with their social circle, will be a source of entertainment through concerts, events, and will make everyday activities more efficient. And while the technology clearly has a long way to catch up, assuming it even gets there, it's still a big question, but the attention to the space provides great marketing opportunities to the brands as consumers and media are clearly watching. And to many, brands' participation in the metaverse is a sign of quality. It's a sign of having an innovative culture. So very similar to what we've seen years ago with the mobile apps or maybe mobile websites, where having one was a rite of passage to being in the company of really cool and innovative brands. So now let's take a look at some practical examples and case studies. But first, let's set boundaries as you would do in Oculus Quest 2 when you set your safe play area before you dive in. So first, today we will focus on the consumer-facing metaverse. While arguably industrial or B2B metaverse applications in the long run might have a much larger impact on our everyday life. And just to give you this quick sneak peek with this diagram from Deloitte, the industrial metaverse applications in the areas of education, healthcare, transportation, industrial production, again, might have a more profound impact on the development of the society in the next decade, where metaverse can improve multiple industries, create new industries, and generate lots of new jobs. And again, like while metaverse in the leisure space might seem truly as a distant future and very cumbersome, very difficult to use, just a quick example from the industrial metaverse, like BMW has already digitally twinned its 31 production factories and has already reduced production planning time by 30% by being able to see all the processes in a bigger picture way, so to say. And it promises to unlock even more value for predictive maintenance, collaboration, training, custom manufacturing. But definitely that's a topic for a different webinar, different time. So the second important point to keep in mind is the second boundary is that the metaverse of today consists of dozens, if not hundreds, of fragmented platforms or gateways. It's very far from the idea of being unified into one metaverse. So today we will look at the examples from some of the most popular metaverse gateways, but new are popping up regularly. The interest in some is fading away quickly. So it's a very rapidly changing space. So if you're watching this webinar in a couple of months and recording, I would assume lots of information will probably be a little bit out of date. So here's just a quick snapshot of the metaverse gateways or platforms. On the left, you can see centralized ones like Roblox or Fortnite, which are built and owned by companies. And the decentralized ones are on the other side, Decentraland or Sandbox, and they're blockchain powered and are built, governed, and owned by the users. Most of the platforms have their own digital currencies, like Mana tokens and Decentraland, Robux and Roblox. And some metaverse platforms are accessed only for a desktop website, like Decentraland. Like there's no VR headset you put on, you just open a website. Some are a mix of desktop and mobile websites, apps, or VR headsets. As you can see, the space is incredibly fragmented, but at the same time, it offers lots of room for experimentation to the brands. So again, I don't want to dive into each one of the metaverses or metaverse gateways because there's lots of details and specifics, but Decentraland has a major claim as the first ever virtual world owned by its users. There are 90,000 parcels of land. They're owned via non-fungible tokens, and each parcel of land, and on each parcel of land, an experience can be built, and you can use a simple builder tool, which is a part of the platform, or a more complex coding tool to customize your scene. Sandbox, another decentralized metaverse gateway, offers 166,000 plots of land. They're equally divided, and the goal is to build gaming experiences within your estate, which you can then monetize. The Sandbox did a great job reaching out to celebrities, including Snoop Dogg, I think Paris Hilton, who is the next one, who has built the Snoopverse experience and has already started hosting private events. So the Sandbox reports 300,000 monthly active users, while the Decentraland has been losing its active users since the last year. But now let's talk about the elephant in the room, Roblox. The game is not on the decentralized blockchain, and thus, as a centralized game, Roblox owns the experiences and all the user-created assets in the game. But that doesn't stop the users from enjoying it. In fact, 55 million across 180 countries visit Roblox every day. And this popularity definitely makes it a magnet to the big brands. So brands like NFL, Nike with their Nike Land, which made lots of media, headlines, Gucci. You can find almost anybody in NASCAR and so on, Vans, and it also hosts major events and concerts. So it definitely has a major group of following that makes this metaverse extremely popular to the brands. And we would be omitted not to mention two other metaverse platforms to highlight, certainly Meta and Horizon Worlds, which is a social VR platform accessible at this point only on Quest headsets. But the web version is likely to launch later this year. Overall, as you know, Meta still has 3.6 billion monthly active users. And on the Horizon Worlds, they have roughly around 300,000 monthly users, which is very similar to the Sandbox. And finally, Microsoft, which is clearly entering the metaverse space. The Microsoft Mesh, which was released earlier this year, built an existing Teams feature. It enables people to collaborate, and even more metaverse-related experiences are awaited from the Microsoft later this year. So definitely we'll be seeing the Mesh is definitely just the tip of the iceberg for the metaverse. So now that we've set a framework, let's focus on the tourism marketing. So as we've seen, the concept of metaverse applies to many potential industries. Virtual retail, we talked about industrial implementations, but it seems to naturally belong in the tourism marketing sector. Metaverse and its immersive digital experiences with AR and VR are seen by some as the biggest breakthrough in the travel industry. But regardless, the rich immersive content is certainly the future of storytelling in tourism. So regardless the metaverse happening or not happening, we all will be having more virtual experiences in the digital space, and tourism is a great place to explore in those experiences. But I think it's important to keep in mind that metaverse is not a replacement for travel, but a way to enhance the experience. So let's have a look at some of the most interesting examples of tourism brands, destinations, launching their campaigns or their products in the metaverse. Metaverse certainly has a creative spirit and a great platform for creative marketing campaigns. So as an example, Vienna Tourism Board developed a campaign in April of this year in collaboration with the Sigmund Freud Museum to put Freud in avatar appearing in the Decentraland. The idea is that people can chat with his avatar to earn entry into a contest to win one of 10 free trips to Vienna or one of 100 free entries into the Sigmund Freud Museum. People could also register on the campaign's website to chat with Freud, which is a great source for the tourism board of the leads outside of the metaverse. So let's watch a short video that gives a preview and sets up the concept and highlights it nicely.
People and companies are pouring hundreds of millions of dollars into the vision of the metaverse.
An embodied internet where you're in the experience, not just
the metaverse is where tech is headed.
The metaverse is defined as a virtual reality space. Its company name Meta is also working to bring remote work.
I don't know what any of this means. I don't know what a metaverse is. I am so out of my depth.
That sounds very dramatic, but I think such a brilliant concept and very timely and incredibly well executed. So next example comes from Westgrow, which is the official tourism trade and investment promotion agency for Cape Town and the Western Cape. So they decided to engage Roblox platform to leverage the influence of the youth when deciding on locations for family vacations. So Westgrow is in the process of developing nature-themed games highlighting various West Cape's best loved locations. And in those games will reflect the diversity of natural spaces. So the first experience, which you can see on the screen, Climb Table Mountain, is already live and ready to enjoy in Roblox. And the game is a great blend between tourism promotion and education, and definitely helps to achieve Cape Town's goal of positioning city as the most biodiverse city in the world. So the experience highlights these beautiful plants and animals, which you wouldn't generally see on Roblox, and is a great way to really give that preview and get excited about potentially visiting. So Asia Pioneer Entertainment has launched another Metaverse experience, which is the Mini Macau. And they use the Sandbox Metaverse platform where digital travelers can explore Macau's tourism attractions. And the virtual world also consists of entertainment, nightclubs, retail shops to provide opportunities for the industry to participate. So it's not just the tourism entity, but also all the businesses associated with the destination. So in order to engage with players, this Metaverse unit has developed two skill-based games. The first one is a fortune cookie, so which is a traditional treasure hunt. But the second one I feel is, I think is incredibly creative. It's really fun. And it's a game to avoid the tourists in these Mini Macau Metaverse experiences. So this experience is a prototype for the future development of the new travel and hospitality Metaverse platform that Asia Pioneer Entertainment is exploring to launch. And it will engage with digital travelers with online gamifications and other real offline rewards. So overall, as we look at the area of virtual reality, there's a significant lack of quality content, right? And quality travel content, especially that users could explore in VR or AR with functionalities that would be native to the platforms. But National Geographic has provided a fantastic example of rich storytelling developed specifically for MetaQuest and a great template for the other tourism brands to follow. So the experience includes two locations, Antarctica and Machu Picchu, and is very much centric around Nat Geo's brand. It's focused on exploration and education. The user is given a variety of assignments. You are asked to capture some images for the magazine. You learn about history, culture, buildings, and in fact, you reconstruct one of them in virtual reality yourself. And then you return back to the apartment where the tour starts. And the part that I really like, that you can frame your photos, decide which frame, what size on the wall, and share with friends on social if you'd like to. So this virtual experience truly gave me a complete immersive was extremely immersive and gave me a sense of place. So it almost felt like I was in Machu Picchu. I had goosebumps, right? You looked around. I was afraid that I will fall off the cliff as I walked too close to the edge. So it truly was very well executed and a nice preview of what tourism marketing and tourism content might be like in the future. So I'd like to play a video that gives you a preview of both Antarctica and Machu Picchu experience. I like Machu Picchu more. Antarctica felt a little bit more entertainment style, less, I guess, immersive, but let's see what you think. In the Antarctic one, you can climb the iceberg.
We'd like you to send us photographs of your journey.
Wow, that was too close.
That was a little bit too nerve-wracking for me, but like the experience truly made me feel like an explorer, which I didn't expect. I was somewhat skeptical, and it truly created a memorable experience. In fact, I think the information retainment from just like being more within the VR is much better than just watching a traditional video. So similarly to National Geographic, there are some other immersive content experiences available on MetaQuest. Not many, but there's a handful, including the VR tour of Anne Frank's house. And the app provides a very special view into the secret annex, where all the rooms have been furnished according to how it was when it was occupied by the group hiding in there. And everything was carefully built and modeled in 3D. The tour is available free of charge and takes about 25 minutes in either storytelling or exploratory mode, and available in 7 languages. I think we might have had some technical difficulty as we have the storm coming through, so it might have froze for a few seconds, but hopefully you can see me just fine now. To bring to you some experiences a little bit closer to home, the hyper-realistic, immersive, and interactive world is being developed by the Springfield Convention and Visitors Bureau for Root History and the Springfield-based Museum and Visitor Center, which is highlighting stories around the Black experiences on the historic Mother Road. And the experience is based both as a part to get a first-hand experience of that moment of history, but also will be utilized for educational purposes at schools and the community events. Again, the power of VR is incredibly immersive and truly puts you into the shoes of another individual. Metaverse and virtual experience can be used not only for rich storytelling, but also in a more practical application to replicate or develop a digital twin of a destination or location or product to allow travelers, so to say, to try before they buy the product. And one of the interesting examples is coming from the Madrid Marriott Auditorium Hotel and Conference Center. And this hotel in Madrid is the largest self-contained hotel and meeting facility in Europe, with nearly 900 rooms. And the layout of the property, the quality of the meeting facilities, large auditoriums, the ballrooms is the biggest selling point of the property. But the in-person site visits are time-consuming and costly from perspective of budget and sustainability. So the hotel has developed a virtual 3-dimensional replica of its hotel and conference center spaces, which will eventually live in the metaverse. They're probably looking which metaverse survives and where to attach it to, but experience provides a great sense of place for the meeting planners who are considering that location. And this is a very practical application that we would imagine will be overall adopted within the convention events venues, the convention and meeting spaces, because again, for the planners, for the meeting planners, it gives a great sense of place. You understand the layout of the rooms, the proximity, and it feels like you've visited that specific facility. So I'll play that short video from the Madrid Marriott Hotel and Conference Center for you to see some of those content experiences. So as you can see, the digital replica is very close to what the spaces generally look like. And as a meeting planner, you would definitely find it useful to get a preview of the space. So in a similar try before you buy fashion, Qatar Airways steps into the metaverse with the Qverse, or virtual reality, and world's first meta-human cabin crew. So at the moment, to engage with Qverse, you go to the website and you can experience for the virtual tour the premium check-in area of the Hamad International Airport, or explore the cabin interiors of the airline's aircrafts, including the award-winning business class Q Suite. And that's available on your personal devices. So it doesn't require a particular headset to be able to view. But you know, there's lots of expectations about VR headsets to be adopted by the airlines industry for entertainment, initially in the first class, and for some custom service access, such as via avatars, where you're able to access the customer service, or that the first meta-human cabin crew if you need to make a change or if you're requesting a specific amenity or service. So here's a short video as well that previews the experience for you.
Every great journey begins with our imagination. Imagine the ability to experience the smallest detail, feeling, emotion, a moment in time before it happens. Join us on a new journey where dreams become a reality. It's time to experience Qatar Airways in a way you could have only imagined. Welcome to Qverse, the Qatar Airways virtual customer journey.
So from the digital twins, let's transition to NFTs. And NFTs, not fungible tokens, play a key role in the metaverse platforms, allowing people to own virtual goods like virtual real estate, those plots of lands we were just talking about earlier, virtual cars, boats, accessories, fashion items, or pieces of art. And NFTs, why they're important, like they're built on blockchain technology that gives rightful ownership to the holder. Therefore, a digital object truly holds value. And they serve as a useful role in brand promotions, right? Where the brands might be airdropping merchandise, or when you're searching for Easter eggs in a brand created metaverse experience and are being rewarded by the NFTs. So multiple travel-related brands have taken advantage of this rush for digital collectibles. Like Marriott Bonvoy has released an exclusive NFT collection as part of the Art Basel Miami Beach 2021, one of the biggest art events in the country. And the digital assets were inspired by their latest marketing campaign titled Power of Travel. And you can see these are beautifully executed pieces of art that I think all of us wouldn't mind to own, even just if in a digital format. Norwegian Cruise Line held an auction of 6 NFTs to celebrate the launch of the company's Norwegian Prima class in April 2022. And again, beautifully executed. the NFT pieces sold out within 20 minutes of the launch of the new NFT metaverse that Norwegian Cruise Line built for this event. And the proceeds were donated to Teach for America Foundation. But what's interesting that there's always this gamification catch. The buyer of the first piece was also awarded a balcony stateroom on the Norwegian Premier first US voyage. So definitely, like, there's always this connection between virtual and reality, virtual world and reality that brands are playing with as they're creating these experiences in the metaverse. Citizen M, one of the hotels that made a big splash. When it was launched, they wanted to disrupt the traditional hotel industry and to create hotel for a modern traveler. And this intent remains strong as they're entering the metaverse. So the group has acquired land in the sandbox to begin building a hotel in the metaverse. But I think what's interesting, this is not a digital twin. So the purpose of the hotel is to create a unique experience for the Sandbox Metaverse Gateway users, where Citizen M will bring art to the forefront by showcasing and selling future NFT collections. And they will be commissioned with growing talent in the digital art space. There will be events, festivals, and so on. So it definitely becomes more of an entertainment platform and cultural platform than just a hotel. And another interesting angle in this case study is that Citizen M aims to finance the build of a hotel in the virtual world through the sale of an exclusive collection of NFTs. And all of these NFTs will have real world rewards associated or attached with them. So they're planning to sell about 2,000 NFTs. They will all be equally priced. However, purchasers will be at random assigned to one of three levels: regular citizens, special citizens, or 50 legendary citizens. And these special awards or rewards will be these levels will be associated with real rewards at the Citizen M hotels that they are developing throughout the country. Another somewhat travel and tourism related product that is booming in the metaverse platforms are live concerts and festivals. They're cheaper, they're more accessible, they allow everyone to take up on a new persona by choosing an avatar. And we'll have seen celebrities from Ariana Grande to The Weeknd to Justin Bieber launching these very extensive, very successful concert experiences in different metaverse gateways. And the musicians are earning millions of dollars while fans are happy because of the quality of the experience. And almost 90% of attendees would attend the concert again as they were served at the end in some cases. So in fact, in July of 2022, MTV has become one of the first mainstream television channels to launch a Best Metaverse Performance category for its annual Video Music Awards show. So it's definitely now trickling down into our everyday lives. Likewise, festivals and events benefit from creating virtual replicas to attract new audiences and expand reach. A great example of that is the Burning Man Festival in VR, which replaced the real event during the COVID shutdowns, or Coachella in Fortnite. And actually that partnership happened largely because of the related partnership with Absolute, which helped to bring the collaboration together. And while many of the examples I have showed to you today focused on building or marketing within existing metaverse platforms or gateways, we also see some interest in development of new metaverse platforms specifically focused on travel. In fact, Arriva Wonderland is a new travel metaverse that offers virtual versions of popular tourist spots from the real world in the Arriva Wonderland. So the users of the metaverse can visit places like Eiffel Tower, Statue of Liberty, Arc de Triomphe, but these landmarks exist in the metaverse, but what's interesting is the way how you're exploring them from different perspectives. And one of those perspectives is through the aspect of time travel, where you can see locations at the times when they were created or had the most prominence. It also features travel to earn component that rewards users for participating in the metaverse. And I think this is the important component. Many metaverses that are not initially built on the gaming platforms like Roblox or Fortnite struggle to retain the users, and this gamification element is definitely a way to experiment, or the rewards element is the way to experiment to keep the attention in the platform. And deal publisher Travelzoo also plans to launch a subscription-based travel metaverse in September of this year as a way to reach new customers. So the Travelzoo Meta, which began testing in May with a limited set of users at the moment, will be a browser-enabled entertainment travel experience that allows members to interact with different locations in the metaverse. So ultimately, it's expected to attract a completely new generation of members. And in addition to complementing real-world lifestyle and travel experiences, which are curated for, currently, I think they have 30 million members, the metaverse experience will be able to provide, will allow the brand to showcase creativity and to be the first mover, which is also very important for tourism brands. And finally, we are starting to see examples where metaverse platforms are being used not just for marketing, but most importantly for management. And the city of Seoul announced in a statement that they released, I think in 2022, that in 2023, it will become the first city to enter the metaverse, where many public services and communications will be handled with avatars of public officials to provide some convenient consultations or gather citizens' input. And in addition, Seoul's major tourism attractions will be introduced for the virtual tourist zone. So some of the lost historical resources will be recreated in the virtual space and create this full tourism experience, a travel experience in the current times and in the past. And from 2023, Seoul's leading festivals, such as the Lantern Festival, will also be held in the metaverse so that it can be enjoyed by all people around the world. And I'll play a short snippet for you of a video that explains this technology a little more in depth.
I'm outside the Seoul City Hall, soon to be the first local government to join the metaverse, with plans to establish a platform for contentless communication by the end of 2022. A virtual city hall will allow you to do everything from touring a historic site to filing a civil complaint. The platform will also host some of the city's leading festivals, such as the Seoul Lantern Festival in the metaverse. This $3 million project is part of Mayor Oh Se-hoon's 10-year plan for the city. It also taps into South Korea's Digital New Deal, a countrywide plan to move towards a digital economy with the integration of data, network, and AI.
So this was a very quick and very top-level overview of a very complex concept. And I wanted to provide to you examples across multiple metaverse gateways, but there's so many other examples and user case studies, especially from the major consumer brands, of how the metaverse space can be experienced or can be utilized for creating this very rich content and brand experiences. But what are the key takeaways from today's webinar? So the first one, regardless the future of the metaverse, is it with us in 5 years or not, a more immersive digital world is here to stay. So investing into immersive content experience is a great way to engage your audiences in a more meaningful way, and then reuse this content within multiple future platforms, metaverse gateways, or whatever would be the product that will be to come in the future. Second, just be an active observer of the technology and of the metaverse platforms to learn as you go, to experiment a little bit yourself, and using this personal experience to consequently develop strategies of your own. As you're ready to enter the metaverse marketing, developing your own branded NFTs and claiming virtual real estate for the metaverse marketing are the simplest first steps to participate in the platforms. And many of these platforms provide the builder kits that makes development of your own spaces and the Metaverse gateways much easier. Finally, leveraging partnerships for scale makes marketing in the Metaverse platforms easier, such as Absolute and their partnership collaboration with Coachella. So definitely look at what brands or festivals might be natural partners in your destinations to explore or to experiment in the space of the Metaverse. And while the concept of Metaverse might change and will definitely change, tourism brands would be wise to start exploring it because it will take a lot of people and a lot of time to make it work in case it truly comes to fruition. And finally, before I wrap up, I want to share with you a final example of a great creativity from a tourism brand, which leveraged Metaverse's name change announcement to create an awareness about a tourism product. So it's a parody video developed by the Iceland Tourism Board, mocking that Meta announcement that I showed you earlier. And in the video, the Zuckerberg lookalike with his style of haircut, the minimalist outfit, and the hand gestures introduces viewers to the Icelandverse, a place of the enhanced actual reality without silly looking headsets. So it's a 2-minute video, so I'll play about a minute of it, but it's definitely worth watching in full. So please watch for the links.
Hi, and welcome to this very natural setting. Today, I want to talk about a revolutionary approach on how to connect our world without being super weird. Some said it's not possible. Some said it's out of reach. To them, we say it's already here. Seriously, look, it's right here. And what do we call this not so new chapter in human connectivity? The Icelandverse. Enhanced actual reality without silly looking headsets. In our open world experience, everything is real. And has been for millions of years. It's completely immersive, with water that's wet. With humans to connect with. You're human, right?
So it hurts to interrupt this video because it's so well produced and so entertaining, but again, definitely explore it on your own because it's one of those tourist marketing campaigns that will certainly go into the history of some of the absolutely best. So with that, I'd like to open it up to your questions.
Thanks, Elena. So the first question is, what's the difference between AR and VR?
So the difference between AR and VR is AR stands for augmented reality. And in the AR technology, the digital information is overlaid on top of the real environment. So for example, you might have seen applications from brands like IKEA, where you would open IKEA's app and you would point the camera to a place in your room and a chair from IKEA would be overlaid. The chair that you might be shopping for would be overlaid in a place in your room. Or with Google Maps, where you might be able to use AR navigation, where arrows might be shown on top of your screen as you point the map, as you're walking through a city or a destination. Virtual reality is a complete virtual immersive space, which you would usually experience through a means of virtual headsets, right? So it's the Oculus, it's the Iris that Google is developing, the new tool that might be the new device that might be coming in from Apple. And this is something that gives you a complete sense of immersion.
Great. The next question is, where would I find a company that could create a metaverse experience of my tourism destination, and what platform can I put it on for wide viewership?
As you can see, the technology is changing so quickly that probably by the time that you have completed building the metaverse experience, you might yeah, I don't want to go that way, but the bottom line is what we would recommend is just keeping a close eye on the space and understanding your audience and what are the goals that you want to achieve, because different platforms or gateways have very different audiences. So depending on that, I would make a selection of your metaverse platform, and then out of that, look for the developers that specialize in that platform. And there's a multitude of different sources. Lots of those metaverse platforms have recommended list of developers. So it's really not that hard to find the platform that you might want to find the technical support. Again, if there's colleges or universities in your area, it might be good to talk with their staff to see if there are some students that are involved in this developing world and you can collaborate with. So it takes a little bit digging, but because of the amount of interest, there's definitely a lot more partners you can engage to develop one for your destination. And it sounds really exciting. So I would love to feature you in the future webinars on the metaverse. So please let us know how it goes.
Absolutely. What's some advice you can provide to a destination bureau that may be working with a smaller budget? Will real estate and NFTs in the metaverse be expensive?
It definitely depends on each metaverse gateway, and in some, because of the popularity, the costs have skyrocketed. In the others, it's still very affordable. So again, I would closely watch the space and see what could be potential collaborations. If your budget is relatively limited, there might be a great way to collaborate with some other partners in your destination. Museums, again, colleges, maybe some of the major festivals or events are happening in the space. If there are any brands that maybe have been started in your destination or are successful in your destination, I would bring them on board. So I think the key to the success is maybe not to do it alone unless you have a significant staff and resources, and try to collaborate and experiment together.
And in our last minute or so here, there's two questions that are kind of similar. Should we buy a .world domain, and how would they do that? And how would you claim your metaverse real estate?
So to buy the metaverse web domain, this is something that I didn't see being used significantly in any of the case studies, because generally in the examples that I've used, the destinations or travel brands have used the land or have used the metaverse platforms or lands that are being available through that specific platform. So you have seen examples with the Sandbox or with the Decentraland that each offer the different parcels of land. In terms of claiming your land, it depends on each metaverse, and some of them, the plots are still readily available and you can very easily purchase them and start developing on them. In some other ones, it might be some negotiations, but in a way, this is why I think it's important to be closely looking at the technology and see how the different experiences and different metaverse gateways are being evolved.
Great. Well, thank you so much. That was our last question. I know we'll be sending out the deck and recording and follow up to all registrants. And thank you, Elena, for your time today. And thank you all for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you.